You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good morning, everyone. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Empire State New Market Corporation for Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. I'd like to know for the record that this meeting is being webcast and I will be the acting chair for today's meeting. I'd also note for the record that the public was given opportunity to comment on today's agenda by submitting their written comments by 4:30 p.m. Friday. I'd say for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda. Directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substantive portion of today's meeting, I'd ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflicts of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. So please make the appropriate disclosure at this time.
I do not.
All right. Hearing none, I would now call upon John Evan Hornsby to present the first item on today's agenda, a request for authorization to retain counsel to provide legal representation to the corporation. John Evan.
Thank you, Kevin, and good morning, directors. This is a request for authorization to retain counsel to provide legal representation and to take related actions. Empire State New Market Corporation recently received an allocation of federal New Markets tax credits in the amount of $45 million and will require additional legal services. ESNMC requires legal counsel experience in the NMTC program in order to effectuate the allocation and assist in executing new transactions. In order to execute the NMTC allocation agreement with the Department of Treasury's Community Development Financial Institutions Fund, ESNMC was required to provide an opinion of counsel stating, among other things, that ESNMC is authorized to enter into the allocation agreement. Additionally, ESNMC will require legal representation in the closing of NMTC transactions going forward. On March 24th, 2022, after ESD staff conducted a broad solicitation and review process, the ESD board adopted a list of approved law firms that are pre-qualified to act as legal counsel to ESD and its subsidiaries and affiliates. On November 25th, 2022, ESD conducted a mini RFP on behalf of ESNMC to solicit proposals for NMTC legal services. 4 firms from ESD's pre-qualified legal counsel list, including one MWBE certified firm, were contacted. Responses were received from 2 law firms and were reviewed independently by the ESNMC president, ESNMC vice president, and ESD legal counsel, who together recommended Holland & Knight LLP, which agreed to subcontract 30% participation to NWBE firm Schuman, Updike & Kaufman LLP. Holland & Knight has provided excellent services to ESNMC in handling prior allocations, knows ESNMC's portfolio, and possesses the necessary expertise in New Markets tax credits. Moreover, the firm presented the most competitive rates for legal fees. Holland & Knight will form subsidiary community development entities, provide legal opinions, represent ESNMC at closings, and provide general advice related to New Markets tax credits. The term of the contract will be 4 years. The maximum contract amount will be $400,000, and the funding source will be ESNMC fees and operating funds. ESD's non-discrimination and contractor and supplier diversity policies will apply to this agreement. Holland & Knight shall be required to include minorities and women in any job opportunities created, solicit and utilize MWBEs for any contractual opportunities generated in connection with the contract, and use good faith efforts to achieve an overall MWB participation goal of 30% related to the total value of ESD's funding. Schuman, Updike & Kaufman LLP, an ESD certified women-owned business enterprise, has been selected by Holland & Knight as subcontractor to perform 30% of the ESNMC work. Both firms are listed on the pre-qualified legal counsel list. The directors are requested to make a determination of responsibility with respect to the proposed contractor and authorize the corporation to enter into contract with Holland & Knight LLP for an amount not to exceed $400,000. Thank you.
Thank you, John Evan. Are there any questions or comments from the directors on this item? All right. As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public, and I would now entertain a motion for approval.
Motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. John Evan will now present the final item of today's agenda, which relates to a request for authorization to sign and file a calendar year 2022 NMTC allocation application. John Evan.
Thanks again, Kevin. This is a request for authorization to sign and file a calendar year 2002 New Markets Tax Credit Allocation application and take related actions. Empire State New Market Corporation is the subsidiary of ESD, responsible for managing the state's New Markets Tax Credit effort, and was incorporated in 2004 for the purpose of applying for an allocation of NMTCs from the Department of Treasury's Community Development Financial Institutions Fund. ESNMC has received 3 allocations of federal New Markets tax credits to date, totaling $130 million. Its most recent $45 million award was received in October 2022 for the 2021 allocation round. ESNMC now intends to apply for a new 4th allocation of NMTCs and submit its allocation application to the CDFI fund, requesting a calendar year 2022 round allocation of up to $55 million on or before January 26, 2023. The application reflects ESNMC's strategy, past successful projects, potential future projects, ongoing management capacity, and other related ESNMC experience to enhance its qualifications to obtain a new allocation of NMTCs. ESNMC staff has worked closely with ESNMC's NMTC consultant, Rise Community Capital, to prepare the application. I would like to note that on December 19, 2022, ESNMC received approval from its advisory board to move forward with the NMTC application based on the strategy and preliminary pipeline. The directors are requested to approve the authorization to file and sign a calendar year 2002 NMTC allocation application and direct and authorize John Evan Hornsby as authorized representative of the ESNMC to act in connection with the allocation application and to provide such additional information as may be required. Thank you.
Thank you, John Evan. Are there questions or comments from the directors?
Just a clerical, maybe that was breaking up, but John Evan, it's 2022 calendar year, correct? I kept hearing 2002.
Yes, 2022, that's correct.
Sorry.
Just curious, but why, last year we were doing the 21 and you got a 21 allocation in September, October of 22, and now we're doing an application for 22 in March or January of 2023.
Yeah, it's just there's a lag. So when we apply, it usually takes the CFI fund about 4 or 5 months to start to review the application. And then by the time they announce, it's usually in the fall of the following year. So that's why they always say calendar year, just to make sure that we're specifying the right year. But there's usually like almost a year lag before we actually know whether we received the allocation for the previous year.
Got it. Any other comments or questions from the directors? As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public. I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. I think we can, do we need a motion to adjourn the meeting? All right. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Thanks everyone for your participation in today's meeting, and for John Evan for the most You would do more of those NMTCs, ESNMCs than anybody, I think, in this organization. So,
Thanks all.
see you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.